Have you ever heard of a Las Vegas city marshal? Well, they've been in the news recently. So today on CityCast Las Vegas, I'm with Una Milliken, Nevada Independent reporter, to dig into what this shadow police force is actually doing in our city. It's Tuesday, October 21st. I'm Sarah Lohman, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Okay, Una, I have no idea what a Las Vegas city marshal does. Can you explain it?
Hi.
Hi.
Well,
We don't say hi here. We get into it. The news comes at us too quick.
We're getting right into it. Basically, they're peace officers, which is, they're trained to be law enforcement officers, just like any other police. But they have a different jurisdiction. So they are in parks and in city property, and they're not really supposed to go outside of that jurisdiction. They do patrol the Fremont Street experience as well. But they do have a special limit, and they were originally park rangers. That's how they kind of started, and then they've kind of shifted.
And we're saying Las Vegas, they're Las Vegas city marshals, but are they restricted to the city of Las Vegas?
So city of Las Vegas, like public property.
Okay.
And the parks. And right now there are several lawsuits going on about what their jurisdiction is. Like, do they have the right to patrol streets? Do they have the right to patrol highways? Traditionally, they have had a very limited jurisdiction, but now we've been seeing some arrests outside of that jurisdiction. So that's been the question.
So is that the main difference between them and a police officer? The fact that they're supposed to be in Las Vegas city property and Las Vegas parks, not even Clark County. Like, that's very specific.
Yes, exactly. That is the main difference. So they're trained the exact same. I spoke to some experts and some people who say that, if you're looking to be in law enforcement, the marshals might not be your first choice, but they are trained all the same. And experts I've spoken to say, I think there's like some excellent city marshals that are better than some other police officers. There's just like variations in each branch of law enforcement. So there's some really good marshals, and there's some ones that are like, like less qualified, as there is with any job. But yeah, they basically are confined to one.
Is that why it might not be someone's first choice? Because they can only arrest people in parks?
Yeah.
People in law enforcement want to be able to arrest people
and on city property. On city property.
And city property. And less pay?
It is a little bit lower pay, yes.
Okay. So you said they were originally park rangers. Do you know about the origin of the Marshals program?
Yes, so they were originally park rangers. Well, at first they started out, they were kind of under this broader group of Las Vegas Department of Detention and Correctional Services. The Las Vegas Department of Detention and Correctional Services was created in 1981, and then they kind of expanded to include a park ranger unit the next year. And then that park ranger unit was renamed Deputy City Marshal Unit in 1992.
Okay.
And that's kind of how they started. Typically, public property, courthouses, parks, that's their kind of jurisdiction.
Okay, so we know their jurisdiction. Like, what powers do they have, and have their roles changed over time?
So they are post-certified, which is peace officer standard training. They go through the same training as a police officer does, but because their jurisdiction is more limited, they might not be out on the highway doing routine traffic stops under a supervisor. And Chris Peterson, who is a lawyer with the ACLU, that was one of his concerns. He's representing a case against a person who was stopped on the highway. So essentially, they're not doing traffic stops. They're not doing like calls to buildings, you know what I mean? Or like they might not be sent out to like a residential unit. So they're not doing routine stuff that other police officers are doing. That's kind of Chris's concern, because if you're not doing that on a regular basis, like maybe you're not trained to do these things. But there have been 2 recent lawsuits where marshals had stopped someone on the highways. And one was in March, one was in April. And so Chris is representing Lance Downs Covington in one of those cases.
Do they carry firearms?
They do carry firearms, I believe.
So you've started to touch on this, but let's get into some details. Why have the Las Vegas Marshals been in the news recently?
So there's been 5 lawsuits against the city One of them is against actually the head of the Department of Public Safety, Jason Potts, for like a very minor issue. So it's not even worth mentioning, really. It's kind of like a personal dispute. There was two traffic stops recently. One was brought by Derek Myers, one's by Lance Downs Covington. And then there was Tim McCoy, who was arrested on the Fremont Street experience. He was kind of wrongfully arrested. They had mistaken him for someone else. Basically, what happened is someone had done like threatening signs with their hands, like they had like mimed a gun. And the marshals were approaching who they thought this person was, but it was actually someone else. It was a pretty forceful arrest. There's
Is
videos of it
miming
online.
a gun an arrestable offense?
Well, so actually, I talked to some people about that. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the other thing. Again, Chris Peterson's like, these marshals are not trained. Like if you're arresting someone for miming a gun, then you should know that that's not illegal. Yeah.
But you mentioned they get the same training as Metro police officers. So where's the gap in training?
I think the gap is just, like real lived experience. Again, it's like you have the exact same training. So it's like you are certified, but you're not out on the street. Like you're not getting a call to go out into the neighborhood and deal with like maybe a domestic dispute. You're not going on the highway. You're not dealing with situations that a lot of other police officers do a lot. So it's not that's necessarily the training. It's not like the training is lacking in any way. It's more maybe the lived experience of doing law enforcement duties like day in and day out. Because you're basically patrolling like public property. It's not like the crimes that are occurring are not as like the breadth of it is not as wide. I guess I would say.
Hey, Las Vegas, ever look for a sign of what to do? Well, here's one, literally. The Neon Museum is offering a limited time deal just for Nevada residents. 50% off admission to one of the most iconic must-see spots in the city. That's right, half off to explore Vegas history through the glow of vintage neon signs. Just swing by the box office, show your Nevada ID, and you're in. No promo codes, no online hoops to jump through, just a classic local appreciation deal. Make it a night with friends, bring visiting family, or finally check it off your Vegas bucket list. Visit the Neon Museum and let the lights of old Vegas shine for you. Now, this dazzling deal won't last forever, so grab your tickets now and experience the glow before it's gone. Again, to apply the discount, just bring your Nevada State ID card to the Neon Museum and purchase your ticket at the door. To learn more, visit neonmuseum.org. One ticket per valid ID. Expect a haunting good time at the 12th annual Halloween at the Magical Forest. Admission includes rides, the Magical Forest Cemetery Walk, the Forest Express train, nightly entertainment, and trick-or-treat stations. So make a night of it and enjoy dinner at one of the many food outlets, including a beer garden, open select nights for the 21 and over crowd. As one of the primary fundraisers for Opportunity Village, attending directly supports people with disabilities in Southern Nevada. So during the 2025 season, Halloween, it's open October 20th through November 2nd from 5:30 to 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and 5:30 to 9:30 Friday and Saturday. It's conveniently located right there on Oakey Boulevard near Torrey Pines. Tickets for Halloween can be purchased online at www.halloveen.org. The cost is only $25, and you can stay updated with the nightly hauntings by following the event's social media accounts on Facebook and Instagram at Magical Forest OV. So grab your tickets now, halloveen.org.
Can you dig into some of these other lawsuits and the arguments at the heart of them?
Yeah, so then Mark McCoy sued the city, and he stated he had been discriminated against. He was actually a marshal himself. The only reason that this case is of importance is that basically the judge who oversaw the case sided with the city, but in her intro, she admits that marshal jurisdiction is limited in scope. So it just means that there's been this question of like what is their jurisdiction, and this judge, and this was in September, so this was someone firmly saying that their jurisdiction is limited in scope. Actually, after one of these lawsuits, they changed their website. So before the change, the Marshall website had described their duties specifically, as parks and public property, but then after the lawsuit, they kind of changed it to include public roadways, which is kind of the only place that you see that on their website. You don't really see it anywhere else, and it's kind of like a new part of their jurisdiction that they say they have, but it's like unclear if they actually can make arrests in those areas.
Are there other lawsuits?
Then Derek Myers, who is being tried for a DUI. He was stopped by marshals he brought a lawsuit in March, and essentially he is saying that it was a wrongful arrest. It was outside of their jurisdiction. He is facing DUI charges, which is what he was arrested for. But he's also suing Jason Potts specifically for talking about the case on social media. So those are kind of the lawsuits. And there's a bunch. They're very different. They're all very different.
Yeah. And why do you think it seems like there's been several lawsuits that have been brought up at once? Like, what is going on that suddenly there is this conflict arising around the Las Vegas Marshals?
That's really interesting. 3 of the lawsuits mention the same person, the same officer. So that's probably why.
And it is interesting that it seems like it's been the DUI especially was an arrest on a highway. Why are the marshals acting outside of their jurisdiction, or is it connected to this one particular marshal?
No, I mean, they shouldn't have been on the highway.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't spoken on why they were on the highway. If you're a post-certified law enforcement officer, you have an obligation to kind of, if you see a crime, you have to do something about it. I mean, it's like, I spoke to Rick McCann, who's a longtime law enforcement lobbyist, and he's like, people would get mad at law enforcement if they saw a crime and didn't do anything about it, which is totally understandable. But also, it's like, the marshals shouldn't be patrolling the highways looking for infractions, traffic infractions, when that's not really where they're supposed to be. Obviously, some people think that, because Las Vegas doesn't have a specific, this is mostly speculation, but yeah, some people think that because Las Vegas has merged with Clark County in the 70s, Clark County and the Las Vegas Police Department merged to become the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. So there's speculation that it's kind of like, and I mentioned this in my article, like a shadow police force. They kind of are more focused on Las Vegas than maybe Las Vegas Metropolitan PD is. That's hard to say for sure. But I do know that like this has been an issue since the 90s. There was a Las Vegas Sun article from 1999 that starts with a traffic stop on a highway. Back then, too, they were talking about how the department was like quietly beefing up their funding and their powers as well. So it's been an issue for a while. It's like not a new thing, but I think just recently it's kind of reemerged.
So if this is true, if the marshals are seeing themselves or being beefed up in terms of being a shadow police force or just generally expanding their purview, what would be the implications for your average Las Vegas citizen?
Well, it's funny because I feel like if they were just being trained like any other police force, it would just be like Henderson PD or North Las Vegas. Like it would just be that the city has their own police force. I think because they're marshals. I think it's just having people who are not necessarily trained to do some of the things that they are doing. That would be the biggest implication. They're also paid less. I mean, I think that's kind of where you'd see that breakdown of like, what is a marshal? What is a police officer? You know what I mean? Like, I think it would be people just overstepping their jurisdiction in areas that they might not have experience doing.
I just want to clarify, too, because you said, again, that they're not trained to do the same things, but they are trained to do the same things. They just might not have as much practical experience, a marshal versus a police officer.
Yes, sorry. Yes,
Okay.
That's a good clarification. Yes, they have the exact same experience, but I mean the exact same training, but they might not have the exact same experience on the job.
Okay. So, but why does it matter to the average Las Vegan? Like, I think that's a great explanation that our police officers are kind of Clark County now and the marshals are focused on Las Vegas. But if they're starting to illegally expand their jurisdiction, what are the effects of that?
So I was kind of talking with Chris Peterson about this. It's like, imagine you're on a huge highway and then there's cars passing you all the time. Traffic stops are actually some of the most stressful police stops that you can, or police kind of encounters that you can have. I mean, they're kind of dangerous because you're in moving traffic, right? So it's easy for people to get angry or stressed, or not just like the person that the marshal might be stopping, but also the marshal itself. And also in this lawsuit, the Lansdowne Covington case, there was a firearm pulled. So it's like it's a very stressful experience. And if you are a police officer, you are kind of doing this routinely. You might be going, this is all according to Chris Peterson, you might be going with a supervisor who's overseeing the case, who's done hundreds of stops before. You're doing it together. You're seeing other people do it. You're doing it on a regular basis. If you're kind of thrust into this without any supervisor or any type of experience, it's like, who knows what's going to happen? And that's what Chris Peterson says. Like, you don't know who's going to panic and like do something stupid because, they're stressed and overwhelmed.
The Water Lantern Festival is coming back to Las Vegas on Saturday, November 1st at Sunset Park. It'll be an unforgettable evening filled with community, connection, and thousands of lanterns lighting up the water. It's a family-friendly festival that has something for everyone. Food trucks, live music, and activities to enjoy before the lantern launch. Gates open at 3 p.m., the festival runs until 7, and the breathtaking lantern launch begins at 6 p.m. You should head on over to their website and check out some photos from prior events. They really are stunning. And each ticket comes with your very own lantern kit and marker so you can create a personal design, whether it's a message of hope, love, or remembrance, and then watch it float across the water alongside thousands of others. So don't wait. This event often sells out. Get your tickets now at waterlanternfestival.com. That's waterlanternfestival.com.
So do we need marshals? Like, why not just fold them into our regular police force? Or like you said, why not have Las Vegas get its own police force?
That's not a question I can answer. I feel like that's something that the city would have to deal with. I mean, it makes sense to have someone who's paid a little less, has a little bit easier of a job. I mean, it's more chill to like
be at a park.
Be at the park. Or, I mean, not that there aren't crimes that happen at the park, and that aren't crimes that happen in courts and, like on public property. Like, and of course the Fremont Street experience, I mean, that's not an easy place to patrol either, but it's not like you're getting a call at 3 a.m. About a really gruesome act. Like, there's just like so many violent crimes and dangerous situations that you can be put in as a police officer that, because your jurisdiction is smaller, it's just a little bit less likely. Again, not that it doesn't happen, but of course it's like, if you're only patrolling part of the city, it's just less likely that you're going to be put in certain situations that are really stressful, really dangerous. So I think we need someone to be at the park, and we need someone to be at, on public property. But if there's something big that happens, it's like those people can stay where they are and they're not like pulled away from those areas.
Una, do you think that there's anything that I'm missing that I haven't asked about?
I do want to mention that KTNV has done really, really good reporting on this, and I just want to shout them out. I just feel like that I would be remiss if I didn't say anything.
That's lovely.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like one of those things where it's like, to the normal person, it's like, why does this matter? But it's like, why are they trying to expand their police force at all? It's just like kind of odd. It's like, why do you want to patrol the highway if you don't need to? It just doesn't really make sense. It's like, and I don't know the reason why they're doing it. It's just a little odd, especially because we do have LVMPD, and we do have North Las Vegas, and we do have Henderson. Like, we do have a lot of law enforcement in the area. So it's like, and I asked LVMPD, I was like, do you guys feel the need for help? Like, are you guys asking the marshals for help on this? They declined to answer. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like a case where, they really need more assistance. That's not what I've heard. because I can't say because they declined to comment, but I think the big reason of why this is happening has been unanswered.
Una, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for having me on.
And that's all for today here in CityCast Las Vegas. If you enjoyed this show, why not tell a friend? You can rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Las Vegas. And don't forget, you can also support this show and get some great perks by becoming a CityCast Las Vegas neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Take care. Thank you so much for having me. Wait, no, let me do it. Let me do it first. All right. Una, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Sarah.